Today we're ranking every Golden Week release in Dokkan from worst to best. I'll be ranking the main Dokkan Fest releases as a collective for each year, and this list will be covering the Golden Week units from 2017 up until 2025. We'll mainly be ranking them based on how strong they were on release, but also factor in how well they aged throughout the year. Let's get started with Number 9, Golden Week 2018. This one is a bit unfair to rank, as this Golden Week only had a single Dokkan Fest instead of the traditional dual Dokkan Fest we usually get for Golden Week. Unless you count STR Jiren, who was only an SSR before and received the Dokkan Awakening alongside Evolution Blue Vegeta. Vegeta was really good on release, as he introduced the Pure Saiyans category into Dokkan, making him a very sought after card. He was also really strong once he transformed, as he built up crit chance up to 70% and launched 2 additional normal attacks. The problem with Vegeta was his transformation condition. He had a 30% chance to evolve into Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, meaning you would have runs where he would never transform at all. Jiren was a great Super Battle Road unit, but many people were disappointed in him because they expected his 120% attack in his SSR state to become 150% or higher, but he only gained a 10% increase in his passive. These Golden Week units were not bad by any means, but I felt like I had to rank them at the bottom, since there wasn't a dual Dokkan Fest introducing 2 new units and only 1 new Dokkan Fest. Number 8, Golden Week 2020. Gotenks and Exchange Buu got a lot of hate on release, as it took 6 to 7 turns to get to their final forms. Base Gotenks and Fat Buu were kind of meh, and Super Saiyan Gotenks and Evil Buu were decent, with both units being good options for Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road with their stunning capabilities. Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Super Buu were both the best TURs in the game once they came out, but it took far too long before you could transform into them, and they even had a stupid HP restriction tacked on to the transformation conditions. It also didn't help that there was very little hype behind them. Overall, definitely the worst dual Dokkan Fest Golden Week units as of 2025. Number 7, Golden Week 2025. Some of you might be shocked to see this year's Golden Week units so low, but it's mainly because of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. It is shaping up to be one of the best Golden Week units to be ever released, but Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku has been a major disappointment. Super Saiyan Blue Goku does not do enough damage for how much HP you lose when he super attacks. He increases your chances of losing by gradually whittling away at your own HP, as well as using up your revive just so he can become a somewhat competent unit. He's one of the worst Golden Week units released in quite some time, while Hit is capable of dominating the hardest bosses in the game. Once transformed, Hit has a Ghost Usher in his back pocket and is capable of doing the following: Seal, Stun, Lower attack and defense, stack attack and defense, additional super attacks, dodge, crit, foresee enemy super attacks, and attack break. He can pretty much do everything and is currently carrying the Golden Week 2025 celebration on his back. Number 6, Golden Week 2022. Every Golden Week duo from here on out were incredibly powerful on release, and it was incredibly difficult deciding how I wanted to rank them. Exchange Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan and AGL Cell were released during the initial Red Zone meta, and they were some of the best options to take into those tough Red Zone stages. Perfect Cell was able to dish out ludicrous amounts of damage, and both him and Super Saiyan Gohan were great tanks. The problem with these 2 units was their 200% leader skills. There was a very limited number of units that benefited from the full 200% on their teams, and AGL Cell's leader skill in particular had very few good options. They also became less dominant as the year went on, as more powerful TURs and events were released during the latter half of 2022. Number 5, Golden Week 2017. Super Gogeta returned after breaking the game during the first anniversary, and he was the strongest mono 120% lead when he came out. He dealt more damage than every other Dokkan Fest on release, even out-damaging 2nd anniversary Super Saiyan 4 Goku with his 120% attack and super effective ability in his passive. He was a juggernaut of a release and is arguably the strongest Golden Week unit ever on release. STR Janemba was also the best tank in the game on release, as he introduced dodge and had a 25% chance to dodge enemies' attacks while also guarding. However, the main reason this Golden Week duo isn't higher up is because a few months after their debut, they released Super Battle Road, which made the entire game its bitch. The Golden Week units above Gogeta and Janemba were all dominant in the hardest events in the game in their time, which is why I decided to place the 2017 Golden Week units at number 5. The gap between 1 and 5 is so small, however, you can realistically rearrange the top 5 in whichever order you want. Number 4. Golden Week 2019. Trunks and Zamasu boast the best leader skills out of any Golden Week duo ever. Trunks gave Future Saga category allies 170% and Superclass allies 120%. Similarly, Zamasu gave Realm of Gods allies 170% and Extreme Class allies 120%. They were the most popular leaders in the game on release and had very easy transformation conditions. Trunks was the second best unit in the game for the legendary Goku event, after LR Kale and Caulifla, making him one of the most valuable units for players. Zamasu was also incredibly strong. He was very tanky and hit like a truck once turned into Corrupt Fusion Zamasu. He was also really good for the legendary Goku event, specifically against the Gatekeeper phase STR UI sign Goku. The main downside of these units was their initial forms. Tech Trunks did not stack defense turn 1 and hit very weakly in base. AGL Zamasu had very few key links and it was quite difficult to get super attacks off with them before he transformed. Other than that, they were perfect in almost every way and were quite capable for many months. Number 3. Golden Week 2021. The first shared Golden Week between Global and JP brought with it Super Saiyan GT Goku and Super Saiyan GT Vegeta. They were both very similar units, with Vegeta being more defensively oriented and Goku being geared more towards offense. Both units were also Rainbow Orb Changers, making them a must-run on teams you could run them on. Speaking of teams, Goku and Vegeta introduced the GT Heroes category into the game and led Goku's family and Vegeta's family respectively. They had great leader skills, amazing utility through orb changing, tanked well, and hit very hard. They dominated the legendary GT Goku and Vegeta events and were the best units in the game for the God of Destruction event after the 6th anniversary at LARS. They came out before the 6th anniversary on Global, so when Global finally got the God of Destruction event in July, players complained that it was too easy because they had access to GT Goku and GT Vegeta. They were still in discussion for top 5 Dokkan Fest TURs even by the end of the year. Number 2. Golden Week 2023. 23rd World Tournament Goku and Piccolo Jr. were jaw-dropping. Both cards were capable of wiping out the enemy's HP and could tank all the tough bosses that were released in 2023. Once Goku got his revive off, he was unstoppable, arguably becoming the strongest unit in the game post-revive. His leader skill was also incredible. He led Earthbred Fighters, one of the largest categories in the game, as well as powerful comeback. Shockingly, Piccolo Jr. was just as good, if not better, than Goku. He was the more offensive of the two, and could tank big boss supers with raw defense alone. He also completely changed the way World Tournament is played, becoming the only unit that mattered for World Tournament with his AoE active skill. Both units were still top tier even by the end of the year, and were go-to options for the Future Saga Red Zone and the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event. Number 1. Golden Week 2024. Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku and Fat Boo are the greatest Golden Week duo ever, and are still great units to this day. Goku's defensive capabilities rivaled LR Golden Frieza on release. He was a hard counter to Supreme Battle Spectacle Gogeta Blue and Cell Max Stage 2. Even after Tanabata and the Broly Worldwide Celebration, Goku was a god against Goku and Frieza and memorable battles Super Gogeta and Janemba. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is one of the best units in the history of the game for shorter content, and is still capable of dominating the battle-hardened formidable foes a year later in 2025. Despite being considered the inferior of the two on release, Fat Boo has aged incredibly well and better than Goku, and is still valuable now for the exact same reasons as in 2024 when he came out. He has a revive that can be activated whenever Fat Boo is KO'd. This takes away the boss's super and essentially gives you a free turn. Furthermore, upon reviving or reaching turn 7, Boo gains access to a Ghost Usher active skill, which gives you another free turn to do whatever you want. On top of guarding and stacking defense, Boo was a good defensive unit and perhaps the unit with the most utility in the history of the game. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Fat Boo are, in my opinion, the greatest Golden Week release ever, and should be the gold standard for future Golden Week characters.